Hey fam, how y'all doing? I wanted to go on a live. Maybe I still should. I'm not sure, but um, forgive my voice if I sound a little stuffy. As y'all know, I am not stuffy. Just my nose is stuffy. But yeah. So I'm kind of just wanting to go on just because I got triggered just talking about voting, which I always do when I hear a lot of voter apathy or just people saying things that aren't true. Like, do you boo? Like, if you don't want to vote, if you don't believe in the political system, I mean, what can I do about that, right? I can't be not trying to beat a dead horse. But when you say things that aren't factual, that's triggering to me because for people who are just discouraged from voting because they hear what people say and it's kind of like confirmation bias, like you're saying something, I don't like voting, I think voting is rigged, and then you get somebody on that says yeah, voting is rigged. That's triggering. So um I made a post today. What's today? Saturday. Okay, today's Saturday, and I made a post. Just pretty much off the top of my head, I'm just thinking. I'm like, the thought came to my mind, which I've thought many times, but decided to post it. I probably said it before, or maybe even posted something to the likes before. But the thought came to my mind that I see a lot of people that I know don't vote, who don't believe in the system, or probably even support number 45 if they had to vote, but just basically, have their opinions about voting and it's not positive, and so they don't engage. That's their business. That's their right. That's the beauty of living in the United States of America. You're not forced to vote. On the other side, that you're actually discouraged to vote, especially on the Republican side. You are very much discouraged from voting because they understand how important voting is, and if you're not a part of this system, it benefits them. That's why you have certain judges that are sitting in seats forever, certain votes. I mean, even for uh, what dog catcher or somebody, it's always the same person because if there's not a term, because nobody comes out and votes, right? So they like that. If they want some type of power and control. They like the fact that people aren't coming out to vote, because the more people come out to vote, and that group happens to be a woke group of people, then whew, Lord knows what that could change, right? That could get a whole lot of people who shouldn't be in those seats, who are supposed to be representing the majority of the people, shouldn't be in those seats, and they are in those seats because of voter apathy or people just not believing in the judicial, not the judicial, but the democratic system. And I get it, I get it. I'm not trying to judge, but like I said, it is triggering when you hear people say certain things. I unfollowed Ice Cube because when we were trying to make sure that number 45 did not become number 46, he was coming out with some plan, at the 11th hour. Your timing is off. That's all I'm saying. I love your lyrics. I love your talent. I love you as an entertainer or a hip hop artist. I love you as a movie director. I think you're a great actor in the movies that I've seen you in. And I'm not against your black plan, your whole agenda, your black agenda. Your timing is off. And I'm saying all this to say that I don't bang. You know what I'm saying? I'm not on either side. I don't know where the red or the blue. It's basically me knowing how important democracy is, and that, as I just stated, people are sitting in seats and doing the dirt they're doing, getting away with the stuff they're doing because people aren't voting. I'm looking at my computer right now, and it's doing something without my consent. My keyboard wasn't working. I'm trying to change out the batteries, but it's typing. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So it's triggering to me to hear people say things that are not true, like your vote doesn't count. Like, are you paying attention? Do you watch the news? I mean, there are people that are constantly fighting to prevent people from suppressing our votes. Okay, there are people who are out here literally saying, you need to open up more stations in rural areas for people to vote. You need to extend the hours. They even say voting should be a holiday, so that people can have the day off. Some people are working. People got stuff to do. They don't have time to be on a Tuesday to come out and vote. So voting is so important that it should be a holiday. I mean, we celebrate things that don't even make sense, and I don't have a problem with that. Celebrate what you want, but so there are people who are really working hard to suppress the vote, and there are people who are really working hard to stop them from suppressing the vote. Like, if voting doesn't matter, why, if you committed a crime, can't you vote? I mean, you could be motherfucking president. Excuse my French, but you can be president at this point as we can see. You can do some dirt. You can grab people by the poo nanny. You can do some dirt. That's all I'm saying. You can do some dirt and still sit in the seat. And then the man that wants to sit in that seat is telling you that he should have, what's the word he said? Not clemency. It's somebody out there knows what I'm saying. You can put it in the chat after this is posted because it's not live. But basically, he doesn't think he should be held accountable if he has to be in this important role as president, whether he, did it or didn't do it. What kind of mess is that? So voting does count. Voting does matter. So the argument was, yeah, okay, the midterms, that's good. But, voting for presidents in the primary is not necessarily all of that. So excuse me again, you guys, because I don't know what I got, but I'm just mad about it. Every time I get any type of sinus, head cold, whatever it is, I get very upset because I try my best to be safe. But of course, what can you do? You breathe the same air as everybody else, right? I can't wear a mask all the daggone time. And, you just do what you got to do. But I stay boosted up, my immune system. I take my vitamins and everything, but I still don't like to be down. I'm supposed to be somewhere tonight. And I don't even think I'm going to be able to go because I don't want to spread my germs. And I don't want to wear a mask. I mean, at a party, looking crazy in my nice outfit. Anyway, so, voting does matter. Voting does matter, and it does count. So the argument was, people are saying, and this is, people are saying. That's why if you have an opinion, we can have our barbershop conversation. We can sit at the kitchen table and talk out the side of our necks and say whatever we want, no judgment. But when it's public and there's people who are looking to you and looking for you and looking for someone to give them the answers, it's not a good space to just say any daggone thing. That's just like certain language and certain, conversations we have, the way we talk. Our dialect might be a little different. Certain words we may use may be a little different when we amongst our peers in our home versus in the workplace. And that's how I think about certain things when we talk about voting. Like, you shouldn't say that out loud so the world can hear, because it's not a fact. And now you have a lot of people who refuse to read, who refuse to really find out the truth, and would rather rely on you because your face looks serious enough and you said it with so much conviction that they believe it. So just, I just wish people would just be more conscious of that, just for the sake of other people. Like, it's okay to have your opinion, but you don't need everybody else to hear it, because some people out here, just like being around kids, right? You don't say certain things in front of kids because they're very impressionable. So that's the point I'm trying to make on that. But yes, your vote matters. Even with the Electoral College, I don't like it. I think it is some little trickery in there because they don't trust us to make the right decision. And when I say they, I'm talking about those amongst the three branches of government, those who have the power, who want to remain in power, maintain power, and control over people, don't want people's votes to have that much influence, because then they can't do their dirt, right? So that's what you're going to get. You're going to get loopholes. There's always loopholes. That's why you have bankruptcies, and the richest people in the world have used it how many times? Number 45? I'm not coughing because I don't really have a cough. I just have a stuffy nose. Dry cough here and there, just mostly a stuffy nose, and then it gets runny. Weird, right? Anyway, so, they do things to try to put, disclaimers and loopholes in there so that people do get smart, wisen up, and decide, oh, I know how to play this game. This is what I need to do. Then they can say, well, if this happens, then that. It's kind of like with the 13th Amendment. Okay, slavery was abolished in 1865, so they say. But there is a but clause, right? The 13th Amendment said except for imprisonment. So slavery is not abolished. Slavery is only abolished in the way chattel slavery is abolished, but we still have a form of slavery if you are in prison. So they find another way to get free labor out of people. You know what I'm saying? There's always a workaround, right? Even with the workaround, that doesn't mean that we just lay on our backs or on our stomachs and let them just give it to us with no Vaseline. We still fight, even if we don't win, right? So that was my post was basically saying, like, you have a lot of people who support their favorite teams and they ride with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, win or lose, Cowboys. It's not a real call, but win or lose, they still gonna ride with them. They still gonna rep. They're gonna wear their jerseys. They got their favorite team. They're gonna be mad when somebody say something about them. They're gonna defend their stats. They're gonna know the statistics. They're gonna know everything about them, their income, their wife, their spouse, their side chick, whatever. They're gonna ride for them. And guess what? Nothing that you ingest is going to change their life or your life when it comes to the Cowboys or any other team that you support, be it hockey, golf, I don't know, basketball. What I'm saying is people go real, real hard. These same people who don't vote. I'm not saying all fans of sports or, whatnot, or whatever you're a fan of, don't vote. But for those who don't vote but are die hard in them sports, when it comes to them sports, when it comes to them sports, you die hard. Like I said, you know the stats, you know everything about these people ins and out, and you're gonna argue, you're gonna talk loud, you're gonna talk low, you're gonna be real life feeling some kind of way. Your emotions gonna get involved, male or female, right? But then when we talk about voting, it's like, oh, it don't matter. What the hell? Like in real life, women's rights are being taken away. I don't have medical privacy in some states. That's a problem. That's a problem. When you have people using their so-called religious beliefs, because if it was all about religion, y'all was so Christian, pork wouldn't be sold in the United States. It would be a legislative whole freaking ban on all of the fake food they got going on around here. Because somewhere in the Bible, Deuteronomy, something about pork is not good for the human body. What you do is your business. If you eat it, I'm not judging you, but I'm not saying I'm going to make that a law because that's what I believe you shouldn't eat. I'm going to educate you, though, because I need you to know so you can make your own decision, because God gave us limited free will, right? So we can only do what we know, what's right and what's wrong. And once we know that, it's up to us to make that decision, not for our government to make that decision as to whether or not we're going to live or die carrying a child. There's so many things that we're affected by that they are working overtime, win or lose. They don't care who's in office, Democrat, Republican. We never get an independent. Naturally, I'm an independent. I play by the beat of my own tune. I'm not a follower. I go by what I believe to be true and what makes sense, what makes really good common sense. And so I've always registered independent, but I had to change. I had to catch up with the game because I can be kind of slow when it comes to games. I'm not real strategic when it comes to games because I really don't play games. But when I understand it is a game, I have to understand the rules, right? And how the game is played. Then I can decide whether or not if I'm gonna be in the game, because I am, but if I'm gonna either be a bystander or I'm just gonna lay down and just hold my vote, is what was part of the other part of the comment in reference to my post. So understanding that, so I know some of the rules. I don't know, not enough. I really don't. I didn't start learning even more about politics until I started doing a radio show, which everything that I discussed was tied to politics. It was tied to my Senate. It was tied to my Congress. It was tied to my assemblyman. It was tied to any local representative, the judges. It all came back to that. So that's what got me just really talking about politics, not really knowing. I would rather have an expert. But I listen to the experts, I read, I back up what I'm being told, and I learn and I read and I share what I learn and know, to be true. I don't just spit out my opinion. I mean, I might have one, but then I'm going to give you the truth too, and I'm going to give you facts. But so I went and changed my vote. My representation from independent to Democratic, because I understood that ain't no independent yet. I would like to see that, but yet in a position to be a leading candidate for presidency. So me voting for them in a caucus or any other way right now, we don't have enough support on the independent side. So people like Q and those who want to say hold your vote, or we need to get more out of our vote. That's what they should be doing, having a strategy in this game and strategically gathering more people to become independent, die hard, strong. We need money backed up. We need numbers. We need to understand how many people are Democrat versus Republican, and we need to bring our independent numbers right up there with them neck and neck. So now we got the power. First you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the respect, however that go. You line it up, and then it's like, boom. Now you can fight. And then I can go back to my independent and it all makes sense. But right now, if I don't want number 45 to be number 47, I'm not helping by voting for Joe Schmo. I'm not, what's his name? Afro guy that's in the league now. Y'all, sometimes my brain just it slips. But y'all probably know who I'm talking about. He's a professor, intelligent man, wears glasses, but he's had his hat in the ring. Green Party, independent, I don't know. But anybody on the independent side, they might be talking some real spill, like that's who I want in that seat. They support my interests. You're talking about the environment. You're talking about the benefits, giving, the working man and the poor class more advantages instead of taking away their benefits. I like that, but I know you can't win. And here's my real problem. I can't let number 45 get back in that seat. I got a headache behind him. And I feel like my mother and my brother died 2 weeks apart from COVID because of his ass. Now, amongst a whole lot of other things, but he's bad for the country, period. He wants to take away democracy, and he wants to run this motherfucker, excuse my French, how he wants to run it. I want to say something about cussing too in French. I don't know how that word became French, but I think we just use it in slang, ha ha ha. But cursing in the Bible, the words we use, like motherfucker, for example, it's not a curse word. In the Bible, cursing is saying something, which I won't say, but putting Jesus' name in it or God's name in it. You know what I'm saying? That's cursing. But just saying slick words like the S word, the F word, F-bombs and stuff like that is not considered cursing. So, but I'll go with it because I'm still not going to be talking slick, using them adjectives in front of my elders because I have a lot of love and respect for them. And I still think they can, backhand me and I ain't going to fight them back. So I ain't trying to get hit. But that's what I'm saying. So yes, our votes are sorted out, whatnot. When you talk about the Electoral College, so one of the arguments was, the Electoral College chooses our votes. Well, technically, but think about it. We have to vote first. So the majority vote, each state gets their own number of electoral votes, right? So the electoral votes are based on the number of representation you have in each state. So, for example, I think Nevada, we have 6. That could have changed. I could be wrong, but I think it's 6. And then, like, for example, California, I believe it's 23. I could be wrong. But just hypothetically, based on population, California has a larger population. And I'm not talking about the shape of the state, but the width or the diameter. I'm talking about the people, the humans in the state, just the humans, which means that's why we got that 3/5 human rule, because other states needed representation back when we were enslaved as Black people, because they needed more representation. They didn't want to give us whole human rights, but they did want to be able to have representation, the same as they do in prison. So if you from Texas, but you get locked up in Nevada, you get counted as a human representation here in Nevada, so they get more taxes, even though you're really a Texas resident, but you're housed here in Nevada. Okay, I know I'm going off on a tangent, but back to the electoral college. So each state gets their numbers based on the number of people in each state. And I don't really know the whole breakdown, how they came up with it, blah, 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 blah. I can read it and tell you about it later. It's not really coming to me, and I don't think it's just as important as just saying each state has their representation. So again, California 23, Nevada 6, right? Okay, so in Nevada, let's say the majority of people vote Republican for the president. So not enough people, the majority vote is Republican. So our 6 points that we get, electoral points in that vote, are going to go towards the Republican vote. So even if you voted Democrat, not enough people voted Democrat to win the electoral points. So those 6 points for Nevada go to the Electoral College, representing us as a Republican majority vote. California, the majority of people voted Democrat, so those 23 points, majority points, go to represent their pot, their vote in a pot, their 23 points as Democrat, okay? All these are added up, Democrat, Republican, all the electoral points add up. So somebody could be in the lead over here saying, oh, it's 6 states, majority, 15 states majority Republican over here, and 10 states over here majority Democrat, but the more numbers keep coming in, that's why we be up late at night biting our fingers like, what's going on? Are going to determine who's going to win. So yes, you still have to vote. Your vote counts. Yes, it's some loopholes. Yes, it's tricky. Yes, they trying their best to slide in some stuff to make it so they can have the final say, but they really don't. They really, really don't if we vote majority, because even if the Electoral College just got to stick up their ass and said, oh, well, even though my majority of my state voted Republican, I'm going to go Nevada. I'm going to go Democrat. We know what protests look like, right? We know when a baby cries, we give them a bottle, right? That's how they be quiet. So that's why we protest. So we know how to do what we got to do. But that don't mean you just lay down and let them do whatever, right? And to add to that point, it was, hold your vote because you're not getting what you want out of it. Well, you have to understand the branches. There's the 3 branches of government. And that bills, they say, oh, the president ain't doing this, the president ain't doing that. Okay, so the president ain't doing what? Can we talk about Congress? Because bills have to be presented to Congress first. And every bill that's ever been put out there by any representative of a state is not even seen, heard, or read. So imagine somebody who's your constituent who's trying to get a bill passed. Shout out to the late, great Assemblyman Tyrone Thompson, who happens to be my cousin, had a bill passed here in Nevada that is called... oh my gosh, why am I going back? Ban the box. So ban the box. So he passed it at the assembly level, okay? So that when you go fill out an application, if you done some stuff in your past, and now you a changed man or woman, and you want to just get a decent job and be, a contributing member of society, You don't have to tell people that you've been convicted of a felony. Like, what was a cube? Have you ever been convicted of a felony? Yes. You don't have to do that. So thank God for him. He went out. I know he went straight to heaven. No questions asked. But so basically what I'm saying is bills have to first even get to the table. They have to come to the table. And we know how difficult that can be, especially when it comes to representing minorities and, the little man, right? And just as a whole, anything that we think is super important to us ain't important to the people with all the loot, the lobbyists with all the money. So if it gets there, if it's seen and heard, Congress has to vote on it and get it passed. So they bang, they red and blue, okay? I don't bang. I'm just, part of this game. I'm just trying to strategically get us through, just like the ones who came before me and those who are here now, and, God willing, those in front of me coming. Okay, so they bang, they red and blue, they in there crip walking, whatever, throwing up signs, and so this bill that your representative is trying to get passed, because you as a constituent said, I put you in this seat, and I need you to get this bill passed. Well, if the bill's not getting passed, it's because, okay, let's just say we're majority Democrat, because that's what they're saying. We just give our vote away. We just give our vote away, right, as a Democrat. What do Republicans do? The majority of people that vote Republican are white, but we don't hear nobody talking down about these white people riding with the Republican Party. Matter of fact, we say ride or die. Trump told them, number 45 told them, I'll be trying not to say his name. So he told them, go vote, even if you die afterwards. He didn't say, it's rigged. You see, we didn't win. Just don't vote ever again. The voting doesn't matter. It's already decided. And when I say it's already decided, that was in my comments. And that's why I'm on here, because I'm triggered and I'm just getting it out there. And mainly because I think people need to understand that it is serious. When you go vote, it's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt your legs, your arms, your back. If you stand in too long, blame it on the Republicans, because they're the only ones who make it difficult for people to go vote with these long lines. If you get thirsty, blame it on the Republicans. They're the only ones who say you can't hand out water to people who stand in lines, okay? If you'd rather hear music and have a hot dog while you waiting to vote, blame it on the Republicans, because they're the ones who pass in bills that say you cannot feed people while they're waiting in your lines that you have strategically put into a situation where they cannot just have convenience of voting, where they have to drive miles and miles and miles for voting, where they have to pick, it's just too much involved. It's just too much. People got kids, they got jobs, they got wheelchairs, they got, I don't know, gout, I don't know, but it's just too inconvenient. So blame it on them. But when it comes to these bills, now, we're not voting in the midterms, so we don't have the majority seat. That's what Barack Obama was talking about, former president, thank God. He was basically saying, you have to vote for Senate and Congress, because those are the people who are passing the bill. So when you say the president ain't doing this, that, and the third, no. The people that you also elected in Congress and Senate aren't doing what you want to do, because like now we have the Democrats have majority Congress, right? So a lot of bills are getting passed through, but then they have to go to the Senate. Now, if the Senate is majority Republican and they don't have our interests, the interests of the Democratic Party at heart, then they're going to say no, and they can rightfully do so because they have the majority seat, and you can't be mad at nobody. And a lot of times these bills do not need to be signed by the president, but they can in order, or the vice president can, overrule their vote. So if they have the majority per se, and then our vice president is opposite of what they are, so if they're Republican, our vice president Democrat, she can throw in her vote, Kamala. But sometimes the president and vice president don't even have to sign off on these, right? That's a whole lot of other stuff. I don't really know everything. I just know enough to be able to tell you that. It gets deep. I need experts, somebody who went to civics college. Civics college. Okay, so that's who we got to be mad at. But it really falls back on us because, number one, we have to get the right people in those seats. And no, we might not get it the first time. We might not get it the fifth time. But that don't mean we say, hold our vote. Holding your vote is similar to me to when you hear people in the neighborhood talking about how the roads is bumpy, how they don't have enough schools, they're not getting enough funding for certain things in their community for grocery stores. But these same people don't open the door when the census come by. They don't want to be counted because I understand we don't trust people. We think they're trying to be in our business, trying to see who our baby daddy is. I get it. But in reality, none of that is what they're looking for. They're just trying to see what does this community need? How many people live here? What is the income like? What resources do we need for this community? But if there's 100 people living here and only 10 people are counted for, then we only getting 10 people's worth resources, okay? So to me, holding your vote is just like holding your senses. So you can't be walking around here complaining when you're not a part of the solution. If you're not going to be a part of the process, you still might not get everything you want, but what? Like, are you married? Are you in a relationship? Is everything perfect? Did you get everything you want? Do you like that your husband snores at night? Did you divorce him because of that? No, you probably stayed with him and found a resolution some kind of way. Maybe y'all sleep in different rooms. Maybe he puts a mask or something on his face. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Did you leave your wife because she gained weight? No. I don't know. Maybe y'all work out. Maybe you don't. Maybe you like it like that. Nothing's ever going to be perfect, right? Nothing's ever going to be perfect. But we don't give up. Because we keep hope alive. We keep hope alive. And that's what we have to do in this situation. Holding your vote is just like saying, it's a serial killer on the loose. These police ain't doing nothing about it. They ain't investigating enough. But you know who did it. You know Billy Bob out here doing it, but you ain't snitching because you not a snitch. So are you a part of the problem? Are you holding your vote? You holding your vote. Like, that's what it sounds like to me. And I'm not wagging my finger. I'm not judging you. I'm not going to think less of you, because there's some people very close to my heart that don't vote, and it's off some, forgive me, but some Israelite stuff or something religious, and it bothers me. And, I get called emotional when I have these conversations with certain people when they try to tell me, oh, voting don't matter. Dude, yes, it do. The same stuff you complain about has to do with voting. And like I said, you're not necessarily going to get everything you want off top, because it's a freaking fight. It's a real battle, y'all. It's a deep, deep battle. It's serious out here. And we just got to keep fighting. A lot of us not going to live to see it. But look at the enslaved and get to live to see us get to this point. And where we going to go next? There are some people that my great-grandmother didn't get to see a black president. She probably never would have thought. Whether you like him or not, he was brown. He wasn't white. I remember back in the day, we was glued to the TV. Why? Because black people was on the TV. We weren't used to seeing black people on the TV. Like them, love them, indifferent. It was a sight to see. Soul Train, Video Soul, just our people that look like us, that eat like us, that walk and talk like us, dance like us, were amongst the masses. They were presented to the world, to the whole country, not just in our little cubby holes. So that's what it is. That's just what it is. And like I said, voting does not hurt. Registering to vote, you can go online to register to vote. It doesn't hurt. It won't hurt your fingers. If you got arthritis, you could probably talking into the phone. I don't know. But I'm sure there's stuff they have for those who might be differently able. So it's not going to hurt you to register to vote and then vote. Go stand in line, you make a sacrifice. We go to concerts, right? We do all of these things, and we spend our time. We go to these freaking football games. It's cold as hell out there. I don't want to go, because I don't want to be up here I like to be comfortable. So as much as I might like somebody, if it ain't Najee Jones, I might not pull up in the snow. If it's Najee Jones, I might just have to bundle up. But then again, I don't do that, because I don't like arenas so much. So if he's performing in an arena or a club after 2 a.m., I'm going to have to holler at my boy some other time, because it's still about me at the end of the day. My self-care matters more than my love of Najee Jones. Okay, so I have to get that off my chest, and maybe this is making me feel better. I don't know. Do I still sound stuffy? I sound stuffy, but y'all know I'm not stuffy. Anybody who know me know, look, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I want y'all to pray that this clears up in the next hour or at least a day or two, because I don't like discomfort, and I'm feeling real discomforted now. I wish I would have did this live, but I got a lot going on. And sometimes I just don't know if I'm going to articulate myself well enough, because I didn't make any notes. This is off the top of my head. I even feel like I'm forgetting something. But the outline of it is, the passion that you have for your favorite team, how you know they stats and who they baby mom and baby daddy ain't. Have that passion for voting. And it don't mean you have to know everything, because somebody does. I will call a friend sometimes and say, who is this judge? What y'all know about this judge? Because they work in the DA's office, so they kind of know blah, 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 to give me some idea. Because even though I might not really like this one, I really don't want old boy to be in their seat. So I might just go ahead and vote for you, just to make sure this one possibly won't get in that seat. At least I tried. Even if I don't get my way, I did try. When I go into a game, I expect to win. When I'm playing cards, when I play spades, I'm not going in there saying, oh, I'm going to lose. Oh, I'm going to hold my spade because I'm going to lose. No, I'm going cutthroat. I'm trying to win. And I might renege. I'm just playing. Not on purpose. But, I didn't play with some people who, I had to just go with the flow. Anyway, I'm talking too much. So all I'm saying is your vote matters. I know this is some cliche stuff to say that, people died and are still dying. But in real life, right as we speak, people are working overtime. There's even someone in a seat somewhere in one of these southern states that is trying to increase the voting age. So right now it's 18, right? And it used to be higher. I think it was 21. I think back when during the Vietnam. So I think it was 21 then. I don't know. I'm going to go back and do the history, but that's enough for y'all to go research. When did the voting age change, right? I can't look it up right now because my computer's having problems. But the reason why that changed is because they were drafting young boys into the war. And they was like, oh, no. So they had to vote. They was like, oh, no, we don't want this. We don't want this president or whoever ever makes the decisions. And they changed the law. So you get what you want sometimes. You get what you need sometimes. And it's important. If you can lock a motherfucker up at 18, they should definitely be able to decide who's going to lock them up. Who's going to decide how much time they're going to get. Duh. To me, stuff is so plain and simple that I do get annoyed sometimes, and I never want to sound condescending, but it just annoys me. So I just feel like if you don't want to vote and you're just not interested and you like middle fingers up to it, it's not you can say to convince me, that is your right. You are entitled to that. God bless you still. But please don't put that out into the universe, because somebody out there could probably help us. And we do need help. Y'all think it's a joke until it's your wife, your sister, or somebody in a late pregnancy or early pregnancy, and the doctor's telling them this baby is not going to make it and you're not going to make it if you carry it, but the law says I can't do anything, so you're just going to have to die with the baby. Not until it's personal. So don't let it be personal. Just know that human rights belong to all of us. Injustice to one is injustice to all. And so whatever we can do, let's just do it. At least you can say, well, I voted. It didn't work. I'll do it next time. We'll see what happened. You can have that attitude. And I will say God bless you for it. And that's all I really want from you. So I'm just venting off a post I made. If you guys go on my Facebook, it's also in your ear radio on my Instagram. And I basically was just saying that the same people who, like I said, diehard sports fans, I ain't talking about people that bet, because I understand why y'all be going in. You got money on it, I understand. But I'm just saying, like, that's your team. That's been your team. That's who you ride with, whatever. They can do nothing for you. Nothing for you. They don't give you no percentage of their income. They don't change any laws. They can do nothing for you. You have to vote. That's how you make change. So if you keep that same energy when it comes to voting, and like I said, it doesn't hurt. I promise you it don't. I promise you. Okay? All right. So have a good day. Happy Saturday. Bye-bye.